Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Keith Andrew Network, episode 273. I'm here with the talented and beautiful Ms. Laura Putnam, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, for people who want to know what the Keith Andrew Network is, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and reach my goals in life. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into a perfect example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. They should never give up, and you prove to people you can still amount to something. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you should prove to them you can still amount to something. That being said, half hour, 45 minutes of your time. You have as much time as you like. Hope you're very talkative. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Rhode Island. My whole family is from Rhode Island. We're all Italian. I think we take up the entire state. I moved to Boston in 99, I want to say. Yep, summer of 99. I've been here ever since. I married. I have two stepsons, 19 and 17. I'm almost 20 and 17. I have a daughter. She's 9. And I've been acting for about 7 years now.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I ask you the hard-hitting questions about your acting career, I'm going to ask you some easy ones.
Okay.
And the first one I was going to ask you was, when you were growing up, did you ever do any sports growing up?
I did softball for a couple years.
You never wanted to be a professional, or?
No, I was always singing and dancing and standing on tables and mimicking Sally Field. So I think I was headed down this path either way.
I hear you. What about, did you ever, when you went to college, were you a study nerd or a party animal?
I guess a little bit of both, depending. I went to college at URI. So for me, well, my first 3 semesters. So for me, it was kind of like still going to high school because I didn't live there. I commuted. I still had my after-school job. So I kind of didn't really have time for anything else. I would go to school I'd leave at 7 in the morning. I'd get back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd work 4 to midnight. So I really didn't do much. Then my dad passed when I was 18, and that was really hard, obviously, for me. And then so my mom asked me if I wanted to change schools. So I went to Franklin Pierce in New Hampshire, and that's kind of when I was like, ooh, college experience. I was probably a party animal for, I would say, that whole semester, maybe half of the next semester. But then ironically, I turned 21 and I just stopped partying. I still went to parties, but I didn't really drink. They used to call me Sober Girl.
That can be like your superhero name.
Yeah, that's my superhero name, Sober Girl.
That's a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
What about, did you ever get the chance to do one of those human pyramids, or you're not a human pyramid girl?
No, I did some cheerleading, but no pyramids. I got like lifted up with by my feet, but not really a pyramid.
Would you be interested in doing some, or are you not into that?
No.
I love that stuff. I'm a loser.
No, you're fine.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you, going to your acting career, and in a couple minutes I'm going to pass it back to you, and you can ask me anything you want. When you started your acting career, who influenced you? And, let's see, I'm trying to make it different. Who influenced you, and how many years have you been doing it?
Well, like I said, I was really taken by Sally Field when I was younger. She is actually the only celebrity that I would ever get starstruck on. She's just amazing. She's always been amazing. She's so talented. She has such a presence. And my favorite movie was called Kiss Me Goodbye. If you look it up, it's an old movie because I'm old. And I just memorized all her lines, and I would watch it every day, and I would say all the lines with her. And obviously, growing up, when I was younger, acting is not something your family pushed you to do. They wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer or what have you. They all thought I was going to be a lawyer, actually, because I really like to argue. You can ask my husband, he'll tell you. And so I just kind of forgot about it. I went to school, and in college I did some acting. I did some stage acting, fell completely, madly in love with it all over again. But again, it was like, okay, is this really something you can make money at? Is it something you can succeed at? You probably should get a real job. So I did that. I got a real job in an office. That's when I moved to Boston. And again, just put it on the back burner. And for years, I would watch a film and be like, you know what? I could have done that. I could have done that. I could have done that. And I remember sitting there with my husband one night and just feeling kind of empty. And I say this all the time. I felt like kind of a spoiled brat because I was like, I have a great husband. I have kids. I have a really nice house. I pretty much have everything I've ever wanted. And I still feel kind of empty. So I felt kind of like a spoiled brat. I felt bad. And we were trying to figure out what was missing. And I just remember we were watching a movie. I don't remember what movie. But I remember, again, saying that was my role. And that's when it clicked. I was so sick and tired of watching other people saying that was my role because I know my range and I know what I can do. And at that time, I was already married, had kids. I was in my early 30s. And I said to my husband, am I crazy? Am I crazy to try to do this now? And he said, well, do you want to be an actor or not? I said, well, yeah. He goes, well, then go effing be an actor. And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it is uncensored. Express yourself, everybody.
Okay. Well, he said, go fucking be an actor. So he bought me acting classes, and that was 7 years ago. And I'm still doing it. I've done a lot of background work, but I've also done a lot of independent film. I just last year wrapped on a short film that had to do with marriage equality. It's actually a true story. It's called Status Unknown. Myself and my friend Kate, we play two women who are married, one British, one from America. And as you can imagine, they had a tremendous time trying to get her green card because marriage wasn't recognized in the United States if you weren't male and female. So that was a project that I'm very proud of. Another one that I'm extremely proud of is I just finished filming a documentary with a friend of mine. It's my first producer credit, and it centers around addiction. And we interviewed former addicts, emergency nurses, police officers, the mayor of Boston, parents who've lost their kids. So we kind of get it from all angles on how it affects everybody. That just is in its final stages of editing, and we're premiering that on October 21st in Boston, so I'm really excited.
No, absolutely. Now, the next two questions I'm going to ask you, and I'm sorry, I mentioned in the beginning, theme, it's uncensored, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression, so I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I think that was either your son or husband who sneezed in the background. But I was going to say, it's true. What you were saying, it's, when someone sneezes, it's true.
Yeah.
What is your honest opinion on the Mark Wahlberg movie on the Boston bombing?
I know it's a sensitive subject for a lot of people. I think there are some people who are angry about it because they feel like he is capitalizing on what happened. But from what I got on it, I was in Los Angeles when they filmed, so I didn't get to work on it. I'm really sad that I didn't get to work on it, actually. But he focused more, not so much on the bombers as he focused on the people who were affected. He wanted to tell their stories. So we all have faces to the names, and we have their stories, and we know more about them. And I think that was the best and most tasteful way to do it.
Right.
I think it's going to be great, and I can't wait to see it. I just saw the trailer yesterday, and I almost cried, and it's just the trailer. I think that he tends to do things very well, and I think he's going to do this story a lot of justice.
No, absolutely. I don't know, when I saw it and I was watching it, I had mixed emotions. Like, yeah, they make movies out of everything. 9/11's a perfect example of that because I had a ton of movies. And, eventually everything's going to have a movie for it.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't say in poor taste. It's just you can't. Around certain people, you have to be very. Say you have to pussyfoot around, and
Right.
I don't do that. I have no filter. I just say whatever's on my mind.
Right.
But in a way, you mentioned. If I hesitate, I apologize for my disability. You mentioned that it's in poor taste because it could be some guy who wants just the money, but he is from Boston, so it does make sense why a local Boston guy wants to tell the story of what really happened instead of
Right.
having the media cover it up.
Right. Like you said, I mean, he is from Boston. His brother Jim actually ran it the year after. I ran it the year after. I ran Boston the year after the bombings. Um, and again, it could be in poor taste, but it depends who's telling the story. And I think Mark is going to do a great job telling the story. I think he's going to do it justice. I think he's out of anyone to make a movie out of this because, like you said, everything gets turned into a movie whether we like it or not. Everybody's going to capitalize whether we like it or not. But I don't think that Mark's intention is to capitalize on it. I think his intention is to tell the story of the people who were affected by it.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
I was holding this up so I know where to edit it. The first thing I want to promote, and you're a perfect candidate for this, or you should definitely be honest. First thing I want to promote is CelebrityVM.com. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
CelebrityVM.com. I give you a perfect example. I'm on there. So you come across my profile and say like, oh, Keith, you want $20? So you can ask for any price you want. The cheapest is $20, the highest is $500. Don't ask me why you would pay $500 for a 2-minute video. It's just stupid. If you have money, piss away. Okay, but it's just ridiculous. So you say, hey Keith, this is Warren. I just came to your page. I really like your talk show. I like your message. I think you're a little stiff, but I think you can do better during your talk show. Or, today's my birthday. Can you give me a recommendation? It's my son's birthday, my daughter's birthday. Anything you want me to say, I will say, as long as it's not perverted or provocative. And for $20, that you get to interact with your fans, and it's a nice way to make money on the side. There's TNA wrestlers, there's WWE wrestlers. You should be on there. There's a lot of actors, actresses, models. I almost said CEOs, but that's my thing. But there's a lot of wrestlers, actors, people from Breaking Bad, House of Cards, Power Rangers. So go to CelebrityVM.com.
Okay.
You can get one for me. That's only $20. And you can go to anyone else. There's Brooke Hogan, Gail Kim, and they want between $100, $200. And can you just hang on for 1 second?
Yep.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I closed my door before. And the next thing I wanted to show you is, do you have a dog?
I have 3.
Alright, well, this one's perfect for you. There's something called Loot Crate. Actually, that's my next one. It's called BarkBox.com.
Oh, I've heard of that.
So, BarkBox, it's about, between $12 to $14 a month. You get a toy, you get a treat, you get an accessory. It's really nice. Go to BarkBox.com. It's an ongoing thing, so as long as you pay the fee, it's an ongoing thing. Also, if you go to LootCrates.com, same exact thing, but it's not for dogs, it's for humans. So they have different themes: a normal box, an anime box. They have one just for socks. They have one just for shirts. So go to LootCrates.com. And also, my last thing is Target. Target, you can save 60% off. I don't know much about it. I don't have it in front of my face, but it will be in the video. Now, going back to the show, I'm going to pass it over to you now. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you wanted to ask me? This is your time, after all. I'm an open book, whatever you want.
You're an open book. That's good. So am I. I mean, I think you covered everything about me. You asked a lot of really great questions. I kind of want to know how you came to start doing this, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure, I have nothing to hide. Like I said, supporting a good cause, making a new friend out of it. You want the long story or short story?
Whatever you want to give me.
Alright, basically, you're the second person to hear the long story, but it sums everything up. When I turned 21, people said to me, "It's your most special birthday. You should do something special." And it's like, well, I'm like CM Punk, former professional wrestler. I'm straight edge. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Well, I do have my health and I have my family. If I
Mm-hmm.
have to die one day, what I would like to have is a couple famous friends. So I was reaching out to a couple WWE superstars, TNA wrestlers, from some Power Rangers, and I was being told to go fuck myself. I was being told I was a low life. We don't have time to deal with people like you. Fuck off. Um, so I was like, okay, whatever. And at the time, I was working in retail,
Mm-hmm.
and I got sick out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there with my brothers and my dad, and with my parents. And I said, they were talking, was like, oh, go talk to him. He has connections, and I just got sick of hearing this over the years. I said, what about me? Yeah, everyone stopped to look at me and said, what about you? Like, well, I want to go to the city. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they said, first off, you have poor people skills. You're not educated. You never went to college. You can't drive. And you're going to work in retail for the rest of your life. Or be put in a group home. And I was like, you know what? Fuck off. Like I said, freedom of speech. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
show you. Yes, I didn't go to college. I may have poor people skills. May show during the interviews, but whatever. But I'm going to show you I can still amount to something, handicap or not. So I guess I used my learning disability. I'm using my disability for the longest time as a crutch. I can't do this, I can't do that. But I was like, screw it. I'm going to turn a weakness into a strength.
Mm-hmm.
And I did what my birthday was. I did want to have a couple famous friends. So basically, I threw everything together and I just said, I'm gonna do it. It doesn't matter if it backfires to my face or not. So 2013, I decided to do a phone interview. Don't ask me why, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I was doing all phone interviews. And I got people from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, from Dragon Ball Z, from Spider-Man. And some of them are really nice. I'm still friends with most of them today, and some of them are just assholes.
Hmm.
Saying it's a one-time thing, or basically I said, well, it's a demo interview, and it's like, so it told me at the time was a one-time thing. Okay, whatever, not gonna argue with you. And like I said, don't ask me why it was a good idea to do phone interviews, but at the time it seemed like a good idea. I did it because I have poor people skills, and I deal with depression and social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was doing it, I was still having the panic attacks.
Oh.
And it really gets to me. I just said, you have this great format. Why aren't you big or link bigger than you portray yourself to be? Why don't you have sponsors? Why don't you have people helping you? Well, would you like to help me with that? No, no, if you can't do it yourself and it's not meant to be. It's like, yeah, thanks a lot, asshole. I didn't say it to them, but when I hung up the phone, I said it. Um, so one guy I met, oh, that was a cute cat, by the way.
Thank you.
Hi, kitty. Sorry, I'm easily distracted.
You. Trust
so,
me.
so basically, when the guy said to me, do it over, so I did it over, and thanks to you, we're up to 273. And basically, it still gets to me because I did 300. You were
Mm.
supposed to be 373. But I was taking people at their word, and I don't mean to bitch to you, I apologize.
That's okay.
I was taking people at the word, and then little by little, the people would say, can you take it down? Can you put it on private? My agent said, or my publicist said, we don't, because when I first started, 2013, it was all from the phone. So what you saw from the phone is what the camera picked up. And so when the camera, now doing a year later, from 2014 to about 15, this is the camera, and what the camera saw from the computer screen, it would pick up. And people say,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't you use Skype Recorder from the beginning? That would have been great, but you wouldn't see a transition. I wanted to show you, I went from the phone to actually using the phone camera to the computer screen. Now it's Skype Recorder, so it's got to be cut in half. I wanted to show you the growth. So basically, to make a long story short, it's, I now created permission forms because I went from 300 down to 0. Like I said, met a lot of nice people, met a lot of jackasses. So I came up to permission forms, like the one you signed. And it's basically, I introduce myself, I tell you what the show's about, and do I have your permission to use the interview?
Mm-hmm.
And should have been doing that from the start, but I was naive. I was taking people at their word. And to make a long story short, now we're back up to 273, doing everything professionally. And it's just, it's a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you did everything right the first time, you wouldn't have learned everything.
Right.
Because you build and stack the cards. In my case, I like pyramids. You do everything right the first time, but you're going to miss something, and everything's got to come crashing down. And that's what happened to me when I wasn't doing the permission form. And, that's basically it. Just sum everything up.
Yeah, but that's good. You could, like you said, you could have just used your disability as a way to get out of things and a way to just say, well, I can't because I have a disability. So, you should be proud of yourself. I wouldn't have guessed that you had social anxiety at all. I thought your questions were great. I thought you spoke clearly. I thought I really enjoyed talking to you. So I'm glad that you did this for yourself.
No, absolutely. It's therapy for myself, and you brought up a good point about using my disability as a crutch. I am guilty of it because I was the type of person, if we met 10 years ago and you would say, oh, can you do this, can you do that? Oh, I have a learning disability, I'm this, I'm that. But after the whole conversations with my family, it's like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? I said, you know what, screw it. Turn weakness into a strength. But wrapping up, was there any funny stories that you would like to share? Do you like, I know you're an actress, do you like doing voiceovers?
I do. I have only done it once, and it doesn't really count as a voiceover. I was just doing sound for a film. The sound was off, so I had to go in the booth and kind of re-record everything. But it actually made me really like that. But one funny story that I have is when I first started acting. So I'm a huge supporter of Operation Smile. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they travel to underprivileged countries and they do free surgeries for children with cleft palates and facial deformities. I've been supporting them now for probably as long as I've been acting, 7 years, 8 years supporting them. And they have this annual gala in Los Angeles. And I went to my second one, and I had just started acting. I'd only been to one audition. And I was waiting there because a lot of celebrities go to this thing, and I was waiting to meet John Stamos. So this little old guy comes up to me, and he's kind of creeping me out, I'm not going to lie. He was like, oh, you look like you're all alone. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. My friends are here. And he's like, what's your name? And I put my hands on my hips, and I said, I'm Laura Putnam. Who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm nobody. I'm just a friend of Johnny's. I'm just kind of here hanging out with him. I was like, okay, well, it was nice to meet you. I'll see you later. And I walked away. So at this event, they give out awards, and John Stamos was getting an award. But they always have another guest. They announce a guest to the stage to announce the award.
Yeah.
So every celebrity gets to bring their own friend to announce them. Well, they're talking about this guy, and they're talking about all of his accomplishments. They're talking about Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days and Pretty Woman. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta meet this guy, right? All of a sudden, the little old guy goes walking onto the stage. It was Gary Marshall. And I was like, oh my God. And my friend's like, what did you do? And I told him, and he goes, you want to be an actor and you don't know who Gary Marshall is? I'm like, I've been doing this for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. So then I found him later, and I was like, so, I'm sorry I'm an asshole. And he started laughing. He's like, it's okay, sweetie, you're totally fine. And we talked for a second. I go, well, can I give you my card? He goes, absolutely. So I gave him my card. And I mean, I've given out 1 million cards and nobody calls, right? So later that night, he walked by me, he's poking me, and we took a picture together, and my friend's like, wow, he really likes you. I'm like, well, he better like me enough to put me into a movie. Like, he was not, like, so he didn't hear that, and I was like, so I thank God he didn't hear it, because then I would have made an ass out of myself twice. So then 3 days later, I'm back in Boston, I get a call from his office. He wanted me to come and audition for his film, New Year's Eve. I auditioned for 3 roles for New Year's Eve. And I didn't get any of them because it was my second audition ever, and first for a feature for a real director. But Halle Berry got the role that I was after. So, I mean, I don't feel so bad. But it was just crazy how I totally made an ass out of myself. And 3 days later, I got a call. I'm like, they like you, wants you. And I'm like, and I flew out and I did the audition. And again, I didn't get it. But then when they were filming in New York, I came down. I said, I'm going to do background on this one. And my friends were like, you're crazy. Why are you going to spend all that money? You're gonna basically spend in gas and tolls and parking and hotels what you're going to get paid. I said, I don't care if he remembers me, you know. So we're walking around and I'm standing in line, and he looks at me and he goes, Boston. And he pulled me around and he introduced me to the director and the producers, and he pulled me around set and introduced me to everybody. He was so sweet. And I was very sad when he passed a few months ago. He's just the sweetest man. But that's my funny story, and that's my goal, is to be telling somebody that on like late night one day.
Give it time. Hey, maybe you'll be on my show on late night one day.
Yeah, right? You'll have your own late night show and I can tell the story again.
Now, wrapping up, I do want to talk to you after the show.
Okay.
And now, wrapping up, I'm going to ask you one hard-hitting question. I took it from Bill Raleigh. And a hard-hitting question is, I'll let you be completely honest. When I first approached you, what was your honest opinion? And after doing the show, how do you feel now?
When you first approached me about doing the show?
Yes.
I was like, great. It's publicity. It's getting my name out there. If somebody wants to interview me, I'm good. And after speaking with you, again, I'm really excited to do the show. I'm glad I did it. But it's really cool to do it for someone like you who has a little more to push for. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like, it sounds to me with your story that things don't come easy to you, and you push and you push and you push, and you don't care what anybody says. So I'm proud to do your show, because then I'm just, one other person who's supporting you. If that makes any sense.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up the interview segment, I just want to say it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to building a friendship with you.
Thank you so much. I was glad to be here.